You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Well, thanks for joining us. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. Here's a look at our news headlines this morning. More trouble for BART. Another equipment problem in the Trans-Bay Tube this morning brought red and green line service to a halt. It happened around 5:30 a.m. BART fixed the problem, and a couple of hours later, all service has been resumed, but expect delays for a while. And the Santa Cruz wharf is reopened after a car drove into the water, killing the driver. Firefighters say the car plunged 30 feet underwater yesterday morning and flipped onto its roof. Divers pulled out the driver, but that person died at the hospital. They also rescued a dog, took them to animal control. Police are still investigating the cause of that crash. 2 former employees of San Francisco strip club are under arrest, accused of killing the manager. Mark Caliani ran the Condor Club in North Beach. Investigators say 43-year-old Richard Lund shot and killed them outside his Santa Rosa home earlier this month. Police say Lund and 25-year-old Asia Morton planned the attack together. The motive is still unclear. Okay, now let's get a check of the first alert forecast. A nice day to start the week. And Jessica Birch showing us we're in for a warm-up for the next couple of days.
All right, let's take a quick look at that forecast as we head outside. Today, we're gearing up for 60s just along the bay, 70s throughout our inland areas. It's a very pleasant forecast for us with small changes throughout the next couple days. We'll see some partly cloudy skies in the early morning hours, clearing up nicely as we head into this afternoon. Now, some other things to talk about, too, as we take a look at the wind speeds. Starting off this morning, it's nice and light, but let's head all the way over into the East Bay and zoom just a little bit in. We're talking about winds getting anywhere up to around 10 to 15 miles per hour in places like Antioch and Concord throughout this afternoon. Starts to die down into the evening hours tonight. It's a beautiful forecast for us to get out there and get some fresh air. And let's head a little bit more south too. I want to show you just what we're gearing up for in places like Monterey and Santa Cruz. Along that coastline, we'll see partly cloudy skies also in the morning hours, clearing up into this afternoon. 60s on tap for us today. It's a beautiful day to get out there and get some fresh air. So let's take a quick look at the next 7 days because there's a lot of fun things happening for us this week. Halloween's right around the corner for us as we head into our Friday forecast. And we're actually warming up as we head into the next couple days, back into the 70s for our friends along the bay. So from today into our forecast tomorrow, we're going to ditch the clouds. Relative humidity decreases significantly. We're going to see sunny skies widespread throughout the bay from the coast all the way off into our inland spots. And we're actually feeling a little bit more like summer as we head into our Tuesday, Wednesday forecast before things cool down nicely heading into this weekend. Now, that's just the bay forecast. Let's head all the way over into our inland spots. Now we're talking about places like the North Bay, Wine Country, the East Bay, and down into the Santa Clara Valley. The low 70s on tap for us today. We're also going to notice that midweek warm up with sunny skies right around the corner. We'll only top off in the mid 80s, and then we cool down nicely in time for Halloween. We'll see some partly cloudy skies throughout the afternoon hours, nice and spooky, and then we're going to hold on tight to some nice cool conditions later that evening. So we'll keep you updated on that forecast here in the Weather Center.
Well, a British journalist and political commentator could be deported after being detained by ICE at SFO. Homeland Security says his visa has been revoked. Sami Hamdi has been here on a speaking tour. According to CARE, that is the Council of American Islamic Relations, the 35-year-old attended their event in Sacramento on Saturday night. He was scheduled to speak in Florida before Immigration and Customs agents took him into custody yesterday morning. CARE is now calling for his release. The organization issued this statement saying, quote, abducting a prominent British Muslim journalist and political commentator on a speaking tour in the United States because he dared to criticize the Israeli government's genocide is a blatant affront to free speech. CARE says it's working with attorneys and partners to address Hamdi's arrest. ICE tells us Hamdi entered the U.S. on a visitor visa on October 19th through Orange County. The State Department's Bureau of Consular Affairs revoked his visa on October 24th. ICE says it detained Hamdi and he was in the country illegally. He'll be placed on immigration proceedings. Well, it's the first time we've heard Governor Newsom say it. In an interview on CBS Sunday Morning, he gave his first real indication that he's considering a presidential run in 2020.
I'm looking forward to who presents themselves in 2028 and who meets that moment. And that's the question for the American people.
Is it fair to say after the 2026 midterms, you're going to give it serious thought?
Yeah, I'd be lying otherwise. I'd just be lying, and I can't do that.
Well, Newsom's final term as governor ends in January 2027, but he also has a potential opponent in Kamala Harris. The former presidential candidate told the BBC she, too, is considering another run.
Have you made a decision yet?
No, I have not.
But you say in your book, I'm not done.
That is correct. I am not done.
In my experience interviewing politicians, when someone says I'm not done, it means they are thinking seriously about running. But when you look at the bookies' odds, they put you as an outsider, even behind Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I mean, is that underestimating you?
I think there are all kinds of polls that will tell you a variety of things. I've never listened to polls. If I listened to polls, I would have not run for my first office or my second office, and I certainly wouldn't be sitting here in this interview.
Meanwhile, a new CBS News poll shows nearly 70% of California voters say Harris should not run again in 2028. More than 50% say the same of Newsom, but 72% of Democrats are in favor of a Newsom campaign. In the meantime, we're counting down to the special election next week on Tuesday. Tune in for live coverage and results as they come in on the air and on our website and streaming on the free CBS News app. Another day, another issue for BART. All service has now resumed after the transit agency announced delays due to an issue on the Transbay tube. Veronica Macias is at Oakland's MacArthur BART station.
On this Monday morning, a sigh of relief for commuters with BART. They don't have to say, here we go again, yet again. The equipment problem in the Transbay tube fixed early this morning. While it looked like there was going to be a repeat of last week with an equipment issue in the Transbay tube, close to 6:15, BART announcing service was restored to all tracks. The red line was up and running. Now for the sixth time this year, a disruption with service. Commuters telling me they don't remember service being like this in the 90s. While the problem was quickly fixed this morning, people telling us they are simply disappointed. Commuters have an obligation to get to work on time and deserve a reliable transit service in the Bay Area when there are committed commuters Monday through Friday. People saying they're tired of hearing about the delays, equipment issues, and technology glitches. One woman telling us she might be done with BART altogether to eliminate her morning stress.
I am absolutely sick of it. There's no announcement. I just have to go to BART, and it said Berryessa in 20 minutes. I go upstairs, ask the agency, oh, no, there's no train. How am I supposed to know? I'm sick of it. I'm going to start driving.
It's very disappointing to be a rider, especially because of the intermittent delays, the equipment failures, the computer snafus. It's frustrating because I have obligations. I'm a committed BART rider. I pay my tolls each time, and I expect outstanding service. It's just not there.
The disruption in service not lasting very long this morning. From what we know from last week, one operator heard a pop on the track, and that caused a disruption for several hours this morning. Things here running on time, and commuters happy to see that.
Well, this all comes after a series of recent BART delays and meltdowns. Just last week, another equipment problem, the Transbay tube, caused major delays for commuters. And in September, a system-wide computer outage caused BART to completely shut down. Well, today, drivers and cyclists on the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge are starting to see some changes. The bike and pedestrian path on the upper deck now closed from Monday to Thursday afternoon. The path will be used as an extra shoulder lane for traffic. A free shuttle will run during the closure. The path will stay open on weekends and on holidays. And it's day 27 of the government shutdown, and food benefits could be running out for millions of Americans. The USDA says it will not send out SNAP benefits starting November 1st unless Congress reaches a deal. That's this Saturday. SNAP helps 1 in 8 Americans buy groceries, and the Trump administration says it will not use emergency funds to cover the gap. In response, Governor Newsom says the state is fast-tracking more than $80 million in aid to help soften the blow. The government shutdown also taking a toll on travel at airports right here in the Bay Area and across the country. Officials at LAX says staffing shortages led to a 2-hour ground stop for all flights last night. It lasted for a couple of hours, and the ripple effects extended well into the night. It delayed flights at Oakland, SFO, and numerous other airports. We talked to Bay Area passengers about the shutdown and their travel plans.
Most of my travel's in California, so I'll just drive if I need to. You got the 101 and the coastal freeway, so I'll just drive.
Thankfully, I don't fly for work, but I can definitely see it trickling down and, affecting a lot of people.
So if you're traveling, expect longer security lines. Airlines say to monitor your flights for any changes. Well, the 49ers hit some turbulence in Houston. Problem in Houston. Our Vern Glenn has the numbers behind yesterday's Tough loss to the Texans.
This is the Audi Red and Gold Report.
The Niner offense had trouble staying on the field Sunday, and the defense couldn't get off it. Add those together, and you get a disappointing loss on the road. More numbers to chew on for Sunday in Houston as they outgained the 49ers by over 250 yards and had the ball for over 41 minutes, thanks to 23 first downs. San Francisco was also held to a season-low 15 points.
I was real disappointed in how we looked for all 4 quarters. First half was unacceptable, and second half didn't get much better. So not much to say about it. Got beat today. Credit to them. They kicked our and we got to take it like men and come back, hopefully a little pissed off, and go to work and play better next week than we did this week.
With the Red and Gold Report, I'm Vern Glenn.
Next up for the Niners, they take on the New York Giants on the road on Sunday. Still ahead on CBS News Bay Area, delays once again for the start of the commercial crab season, how that could impact the dinner table during the holidays. Plus, 2 large homeless encampments in Santa Clara County set to be dismantled while the landowner says they've become too dangerous.
There have been arson concerns where campers have set other campers' tents on fire.
70s holding on tight to us for one more day into our Wednesday forecast. It'll feel a little bit more summer-like for us. Tuesday and Wednesday, as that relative humidity drops, you make your way over into our inland spots, places like the East Bay and the Santa Clara Valley. We're also seeing 80s on tap for us on Wednesday. Nice, cool, cloudy conditions to wrap up this week. Thursday and Friday, just in time for that Halloween forecast. It's going to be a great day to get out there and do trick-or-treating. Of course, as the sun starts to set and temperatures start to cool down, you're going to want to grab that jacket for the kiddos, maybe put it underneath the costume. We'll have more on that Halloween forecast coming up in just a bit.
Well, Hurricane Melissa, the powerful storm barreling towards Jamaica, has now been upgraded to a Category 5. Here's a look at the satellite imagery as it nears the Caribbean island nation. Forecasters expect the hurricane to bring 40 inches of rain, winds up to 160 miles per hour. That was the sound of the wind already ripping through Jamaica. Evacuation orders have been issued for coastal areas. The storm is expected to make landfall sometime tomorrow. Dungeness crab season has been delayed yet again right here in the Bay Area. Local fishermen told our Da Lin it's become nearly impossible to keep their businesses afloat.
Very quiet at the docks near Fisherman's Wharf. The commercial season postponement was pretty much expected. It's been delayed the last 4 or 5 years straight, but it doesn't make it any easier for the fishermen. The crab pots will stay on the docks for at least a couple of more months. That's bad news for San Francisco fisherman David Kemp.
Look at me. I got holes in my shirt, you know? It means we're barely holding on to our businesses.
A double whammy for David and other Bay Area fishermen. The state canceled the commercial salmon season this year, and now they'll miss out on the usually high holiday demand for crab.
Who really misses out is the public, because if they get crab that comes out of San Francisco, it's been in a freezer for 6 months or 8 months. If they get crab that comes out of Puget Sound, they're paying $15.99 a pound.
Prices are high because most of the crab served at local restaurants is being caught off the Washington coast.
Well, that means we're probably going to be closed Thanksgiving because we're not going to open. People don't come down here for turkey, so that hurts us for Thanksgiving. A lot of Christmas crab is huge for us, and New Year's. So that's our 3 holidays that really just kind of ruins.
No way to sugarcoat it. Everybody suffers. Fishermen, seafood restaurants, and crab lovers.
It's bad for business, and it just really hurts Fisherman's Wharf as a whole.
But they also understand the delay is meant to protect whales.
Anytime that they entangle more than 3 endangered humpback whales in a single year, the season will be delayed until the following year. So if there were 4 whales confirmed entangled in Dungeness crab fishing gear over the last year.
Dr. Jeff Shester with Oceana says the state will likely approve new pop-up crab gear for the spring season. GPS and acoustic technology will trigger buoys and ropes to rise from crab pots on the ocean floor, eliminating vertical lines that can entangle whales and sea turtles.
New technology has been tested successfully and shown to work in a limited context over the last few years. years. And we're hopeful that this spring that will be an option to allow these fishermen to stay on the water and really prevent further entanglements at the same time.
But David says not everyone can afford the new gear, and his boat might be too small to handle it.
I can't be optimistic. There's nothing to be optimistic about.
The earliest the states might open the commercial season would be in early January. Now, for parts of the state and waters off of San Francisco, the recreational Dungeness crab season will still open on November 1st.
Well, the next risk assessment by the California Department of Fish and Wildlife is expected to take place sometime in mid-December. Well, two 12-year-old children are accused in a pair of hit-and-run crashes. Police in Watsonville say a girl took her mother's Nissan Altima around 1 o'clock yesterday morning. They say she was involved in a hit-and-run around 10 a.m. in Marina, and police believe she was with her boyfriend. They say the pair was also involved in a second hit-and-run crash later in the day in San Jose before abandoning the car. They say both children were found yesterday morning in Santa Clara. No word if they are facing any charges. Clock is ticking for two of Gilroy's largest homeless encampments. They are located on Santa Clara Valley water property, but the district is now trying to clear everyone out by the first week of November. As Suji Nam reports and shows us, the main concern is safety.
Oh, come here, Mama, come here, come on.
This is the life of Greg Porter.
She just got abandoned out here.
He and his cat have been living at this encampment since January.
This is basically just my kitchen right here. Like I said, everything's just a mess right now because we're trying to move, trying to get everything all sorted out.
Trying to get his future sorted out, as Santa Clara Water Valley, that owns the property along Tompkins Court, said everyone at this encampment needs to leave by November 3rd.
It's pretty mellow. We all try to help each other out, here.
Valley Water owns two properties in Gilroy that have become encampments for nearly 60 people. Mark Bilski, assistant officer with Valley Water, says in the past year, conditions have deteriorated.
Our staff have police accompaniment every time they go out to do their work at these sites. And police are able to respond when safety incidents occur, but it's always only reactive.
Bilski adds that there are other growing concerns for staff when they do community outreach.
There have been arson concerns where campers have set other campers' tents on fire. We continue to recover weapons from campers at the site, bladed weapons, firearms.
Here's one right here.
But Porter says they are being misunderstood.
They clean up Valley Water will remove all personal property, shelters and garbage remain in the area. We're just normal people like everybody else,
And he is unsure where he will have to go.
We won't go to a shelter because it feels like we're institutional, locked up.
Community advocates say even for those who want to go to a shelter, availability is an issue. Santa Clara County leaders say there is a waiting list for shelter beds.
We'll just get kicked out again. That's about it, We'll get kicked out.
Valley Water leaders say they expect everyone to clear the site by the first week of November. But the question remains, where will those like Porter go to next?
And Valley Water says they're exploring interim housing options at other sites in Santa Clara County, but that would happen well after the encampment closure. Still ahead, the recipes at this iconic restaurant have been under lock and key until now. Why Bay Area families are revealing the secrets behind their success.
It's about a restaurant, but it's about Chinatown, it's about San Francisco.
How her new cookbook is also dishing out more than just recipes.
We're going to see sunnier skies on tap for us. Relative humidity will start to drop as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, exposing us to beautiful sunshine along the coast, stretched all the way off into our inland spots. And we're also getting a warm up too as high pressure starts to ridge in just a little bit from the south. Southern California is going to get the bulk of it, but here in the Bay alone, we're talking about 70s Tuesday and Wednesday, 60s right back to our Thursday forecast as clouds start rolling in from the north. We'll cool down just a little bit more as we head into that Halloween forecast for our friends along the Bay. Now, that's just our Bay Area area forecast. We head over into our inland spots, places like the East Bay, the Santa Clara Valley. It's going to look a lot different. We're talking about 80s right around the corner as early as Wednesday, close to the 80s as early as tomorrow. That's when relative humidity really starts to drop. We'll see sunny skies widespread throughout those inland areas. Starts to cool down just a little bit more right ahead of Halloween. We're talking about 70s for those daytime highs, which means by the time the sun sets on Halloween on Friday, it's going to start getting cool and spooky, so make sure those kiddos have jackets and they're ready to go to stay warm into the evening hours that night. Luckily, we start to warm up once again Saturday and Sunday with sunnier skies right around the corner. So a very mild forecast for us this week. We're here to keep you updated on that.
Well, this will get you hungry. These are some of the dishes you could try if you ever visited the house at Nanking in San Francisco's Chinatown. But up until now, the ingredients behind the recipes were kept a secret. Now the restaurant has released a cookbook so you can make some of their famous dishes at home. But as Max Darrow shows us, the book goes much deeper than a quick how-to.
Ever since she was a little girl, Kathy Fang found a home away from home in House of Nanking. She basically grew up in her family's restaurant, which opened in 1988. And from the get-go, they did things differently there.
Because my dad thought in his head, well, I don't want to do signage just like everybody else. I want to do something that stands out.
And that it did. House of Nanking would soon become an iconic spot in San Francisco's Chinatown. Now, Kathy is the one who will ensure House of Nanking's legacy and story lives on.
I felt like everything kind of fell in place, and it feels incredible to be able to continue doing what my parents have been doing and build something that's long-lasting.
And one key ingredient of that recipe, this cookbook. Inside, generations of family recipes the Fangs have never shared before.
People would email us, and we're always like, nope, we can't share anything, because my dad always thought that if he were to share all his recipes, everybody would make them, and no one would come to the restaurant. And I was like, Dad, it doesn't really work that way. Cookbooks are actually a way of celebrating places that you love, right?
And in Kathy's eyes, her family wouldn't have necessarily found success if it weren't for where they decided to open up.
So this story is as much ours as it is San Francisco.
Her family found a home in Chinatown.
I was born at the Chinese hospital, right up the street from House of Nanking, actually, just 3 blocks away. Jackson Street was my street. My dad and I would just basically hit up all these restaurants here because it was just so close to the restaurant.
Although some things have changed.
So the signage is still here. It says New Asia Restaurant, but it is not a restaurant anymore. It is a grocery store.
Routines haven't all that much.
And I still do everything here. We talk a lot about Chinatown, San Francisco, and how we're this close-knit community, that everything works as its own ecosystem, and we're continually trying to support each other.
The stories behind the recipes were easy to share. Articulating the recipes themselves, however, was quite a challenge.
Because it's normally just like, it's a feel. So having to do that was really hard. And we don't have any written down recipes. So
You don't have any written down recipes?
No, we don't have any written down. I had to reverse engineer everything just kind of based on how something tastes.
While the recipes may be the draw of the book, Kathy hopes people will learn so much more.
It's about a restaurant, but it's about Chinatown, it's about San Francisco, and it's a little like historical piece that people maybe 10, 20 years later can refer back to if the landscape were to change here one day.
One family's story that found a recipe for success in San Francisco and has never looked back.
And some of those recipes in the cookbook were used in the movie Ant-Man and the Wasp, when the characters were eating House of Nanking on top of the Golden Gate Bridge. Well, coming up in our next half hour in CBS News Bay Area, an East Bay attraction popular with kids running out of steam, why the Tilden Park steam train is facing an uncertain future.
Your community, your news, powered by KPIX. CBS News Bay Area. Watch anywhere, anytime. Stay informed and connected. Trusted local news when you want it. CBS News Bay Area. Watch free on any device. You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Well, thanks for staying with us. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. Here's another look at our news headlines. More trouble for BART. Another equipment problem in the Trans-Bay Tube this morning brought red and green line service to a halt. It happened around 5:30 a.m. BART fixed the problem a couple hours later. All service has resumed, but expect delays for a while. The Santa Cruz wharf is reopened after a car drove into the water, killing the driver. Firefighters say the car plunged 30 feet underwater yesterday morning and flipped onto its roof. Divers pulled out the driver, but that person died at the hospital. They also rescued a dog and took them to animal control. Police are still investigating the cause of that crash. And 2 former employees of a San Francisco strip club are now under arrest. They're accused of killing the manager, Mark Calcani, the Condor Club in North Beach. He ran that in North Beach. Investigators say 43-year-old Richard Lund shot and killed him outside his Santa Rosa home earlier this month. Police say Lund and 25-year-old Asia Morton planned the attack together. The motive is still unclear. Okay, now let's get another check of our first alert forecast with meteorologist Jessica Birch.
All right, let's take a quick look at that forecast as we head outside. Today, we're gearing up for 60s just along the bay, 70s throughout our inland areas. It's a very pleasant forecast for us with small changes throughout the next couple days. We'll see some partly cloudy skies in the early morning hours, clearing up nicely as we head into this afternoon. Now, some other things to talk about, too, as we take a look at the wind speeds. Starting off this morning, it's nice and light, but let's head all the way over into the East Bay and zoom just a little bit in. We're talking about winds getting anywhere up to around 10 to 15 miles per hour in places like Antioch and Concord throughout this afternoon. Starts to die down into the evening hours tonight. It's a beautiful forecast for us to get out there and get some fresh air. And let's head a little bit more south too. I want to show you just what we're gearing up for in places like Monterey and Santa Cruz. Along that coastline, we'll see partly cloudy skies also in the morning hours, clearing up into this afternoon. 60s on tap for us today. It's a beautiful day to get out there and get some fresh air. So let's take a quick look at the next 7 days because there's a lot of fun things happening for us this week. Halloween's right around the corner for us as we head into our Friday forecast. And we're actually warming up as we head into the next couple days, back into the 70s for our friends along the bay. So from today into our forecast tomorrow, we're going to ditch the clouds. Relative humidity decreases significantly. We're going to see sunny skies widespread throughout the bay from the coast all the way off into our inland spots. And we're actually feeling a little bit more like summer as we head into our Tuesday, Wednesday forecast before things cool down nicely heading into this weekend. Now that's just the bay forecast. Let's head all the way over into our inland spots. Now we're talking about places like the North Bay, Wine Country, the East Bay, and down into the Santa Clara Valley. The low 70s on tap for us today. We're also going to notice that midweek warm up with sunny skies right around the corner. We'll only top off in the mid 80s and then we cool down nicely in time for Halloween. We'll see some partly cloudy skies throughout the afternoon hours, nice and spooky. And then we're going to hold on tight to some nice cool conditions later that evening. So we'll keep you updated on that forecast here in the Weather Center.
Well, a children's attraction in the East Bay is now in jeopardy. The owner of the Tilden Park steam train says it cannot continue to operate without a long-term commitment from the East Bay Parks District. John Ramos says it all comes down to a dispute over a lease agreement.
Anyone who's ever been a kid or raised a kid in the East Bay knows that the Tilden Park steam train is an institution. And while its history has been on the rails, its future is very much up in the air. Whenever he rides the steam train, 5.5-year-old Daniel likes to be first in line so he can grab the seat just behind the engine. How many times have you ridden this train?
I don't know, maybe a lot. I rode them so much now I don't know how.
You don't even know how many times?
No.
He knows the journey so well, he's like a tour guide, pointing out different sights along the ride and hoping for something to happen that he says is very rare.
One time, the man who's driving us blew the whistle in the tunnel.
Was that scary or fun?
Funny. He didn't blow the whistle.
Oh well, there's always next time. And at $4 a ticket, the train is a popular outing for kids and their parents to do again and again. In fact, while other entertainment venues have suffered since the pandemic, the steam train is booming. And that's where the problem comes in. The operation needs some investment to maintain and expand its infrastructure, but owner Ellen Thompson says that's not even possible right now.
We've always had long-term leases with the Park District, 20 years at a time, and for some reason, the last go-around, for the last 7 years, we haven't been able to get a lease. And I don't know what the issue is with them, but we've had a draft out there for a long time. But during that 7 years that we've been trying to get a lease, the staff people that we've been trying to work with have changed 12 times in 7 years. And it's, you know, the new people who come in start reneging on the stuff that was settled a long time ago.
Because they've been operating on a month-to-month basis for 7 years, they can't get approval to make any capital improvements to the operation.
And there's a lot of maintenance things we have to do that have to be permitted. And we can't do any of that now until we have a lease.
Ellen says she would hate to have to find a new home for her railroad, which for her has been a lifelong labor of love. The little trains, begun by her father, Eric Thompson, in 1952, actually run through a mature redwood forest planted as saplings by the railroad. Dave Peterson is a retired airline pilot who, for the last 4 years, has worked the controls of the authentic scale-modeled steam locomotive.
How important an asset is this for the Bay Area to have something like this?
Well, I've been coming here since I was a little kid, so I've liked it. We've had people here who are grandparents who were kids when their grandparents brought them.
There are 4 engines in all, each capturing in miniature form the romance of the mighty iron horse that propelled a nation into a new age of steel and steam. Meanwhile, Daniel, also in miniature form, captures the dream of keeping that history alive.
Would you like to drive the train sometime?
Yeah.
Why? What would that be like?
Because I like the trains, and I'm planning to make a train myself.
You're going to make a train yourself?
Yeah, I think so.
The Parks District declined to speak about the dispute, but offered a statement saying it is committed to a continued operation that meets all fire code requirements. Whatever caused the lease negotiations to go off the rails, parents and kids alike hope the two sides will work together to get it back on track.
Oh, that train is so part of my childhood. Well, the train's owner, who just turned 70, says she's asking for a 10-year lease with another 10-year option. She also says she'd like to establish a nonprofit that can operate the railroad long after she is gone. President Trump has arrived in Tokyo as part of a 5-day trip through Asia. Trump first arrived in Malaysia over the weekend, where he signed trade agreements and a peace treaty. Tomorrow, he will meet with Japan's newly elected prime minister. Later this week, he's expected to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping. They're expected to talk about trade, tariffs, and TikTok.
I think we're going to have a successful transaction. We expect we'll have an approval, but I'd rather wait till a couple of days to let you know.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the president's threat of an additional 100% tariff is effectively off the table. As the government shutdown enters its 4th week, national parks remains open to visitors, at least for now. But as Carter Evans reports from Yosemite, some visitors are taking dangerous risks with fewer park officials on duty.
Never seen that before.
It's an unusual sight because base jumping in national parks is illegal. Charles Winstead captured this video while climbing Yosemite's 3,000-foot-high El Capitan, and it's just some of the unlawful behavior he's seen here recently.
Car camping, base jumping, drone activities. From what I hear, people are hiking Half Dome without permits.
Even with the federal government shut down, national parks are still wide open, but most of the staff is furloughed, which may embolden thrill seekers.
Wow.
Right in the middle of the meadow.
We started seeing people base jumping, and not the typical crack of dawn, do it quick and then run away, but middle of the day and just walking off without any concerns.
Here at El Capitan, climbers worry about the danger of drones and base jumpers above them.
I've definitely been climbing and had base jumpers like fly past me.
What's that like?
It's scary. It's like really loud, like incredibly loud.
Robbie Brown didn't see any base jumpers this trip, but he did see emergency services.
They did a rescue the other day. There were some people who got hurt, which is fairly regular.
So those sorts of activities are still going on?
Oh yeah, like people are still rock climbing and having a great season.
The warm fall weather and no admission fees are attracting plenty of visitors, including Yosemite regular Tom Evans, who's been photographing climbers here for decades.
There's nobody manning the gates, so
People come in all the time now since it's free. The employees that they need to run this, they've all been sent away.
And the National Park Service told CBS News that rangers are still patrolling high-use areas. Their priority is keeping everyone safe and protecting the environment and hoping all visitors will be on their best behavior. Muir Woods is temporarily reopened thanks to a coalition of vendors who run businesses inside the park. It closed at the beginning of the government shutdown. Now through the end of the month, entrance is free for all visitors. The organizers of the effort told us with the help of dozens of tour operators, the gift shop and parking company, the group was able to raise $46,000, enough to reopen for 10 days. Up next, it's been a calling that he has been perfecting since he was little. We introduce you to a local man who won the world championship for whistling.
I go about my business, take a shower, make coffee, and I just keep going.
'70s holding on tight to us for one more day into our Wednesday forecast. It'll feel a little bit more summer-like for us. Tuesday and Wednesday, as that relative humidity drops, you make your way over into our inland spots, places like the East Bay and the Santa Clara Valley. We're also seeing 80s on tap for us on Wednesday. Nice, cool, cloudy conditions to wrap up this week. Thursday and Friday, just in time for that Halloween forecast. It's going to be a great day to get out there and do trick-or-treating. Of course, as the sun starts to set and temperatures start to cool down, you're going to want to grab that jacket for the kiddos, maybe put it underneath the costume. We'll have more on that Halloween forecast coming up in just a bit.
Well, a water main break leading to a big mess in San Francisco after a large water main break flooded the roadway and several homes with 2 to 3 feet of water. This was on Santos Street between Velasco and Geneva Avenue. The fire department posted this video and is urging everyone to stay away from the area. The water main has been shut down as crews work on repairs and evacuations. No evacuations, should I say, were issued. Now to a competition that does not get a whole lot of attention, but organizers hope to revive the ancient art of whistling with each championship they hold. One San Francisco man spends countless hours practicing to become perfect pitch. Our Kenny Choi has his story.
At any given moment, chances are pretty good Jack Scano is doing what he does best.
I go about my business, take a shower, make coffee, and I just keep going.
He whistles classical tunes, pop hits, and more.
Some of them I go really loud and operatic, like, and some others are.
During musical performances as a child in Italy, while others played instruments, Jack clutched a microphone to whistle.
I've been whistling my whole life. I haven't quite dreamed of winning the world champion title for whistling my whole life.
But for the first time this year, Jack decided to compete for a world title. More than 50 whistlers from 8 countries convened in Los Angeles the first week of October. Carol Ann Kaufman is producer of the Masters of Musical Whistling International Festival and Competition and 2-time world whistling champion.
I'm hoping that what we do with these champions that we create and the ambassadorship that we create for musical whistling, that ultimately we're giving people permission to embrace their own art form.
There's no prize money, just bragging rights. Scano placed first overall, claiming the world title. His wife isn't tuning him out.
When I won the award, it was the first time I heard her scream to the top of her lungs to support me. So that was pretty cool.
He whistles at least 6 hours a day. He's proving a lot of practice and grit can make you a world champion.
Well, there are 4 levels of competitions at the Masters of Musical Whistling International Festival. Youth, Open, Advanced, and Masters. Only master-level contestants are eligible to win the World Championship title. Coming up, the Supernatural Tour's Out for Blood this Halloween. How vampires are taking a bite out of Bay Area history.
Here we go up, baby.
We're we're going to see sunnier skies on tap for us. Relative humidity will start to drop as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, exposing us to beautiful sunshine along the coast, stretched all the way off into our inland spots. And we're also getting a warm up too as high pressure starts to ridge in just a little bit from the south. Southern California is going to get the bulk of it, but here in the Bay alone, I mean, we're talking about 70s Tuesday and Wednesday, 60s right back to our Thursday forecast as clouds start rolling in from the north. We'll cool down just a little bit more as we head into that Halloween forecast for our friends along the Bay. Now, that's just our Bay Area forecast. We head over into our inland spots, places like the East Bay, the Santa Clara Valley. It's going to look a lot different. We're talking about 80s right around the corner as early as Wednesday, close to the 80s as early as tomorrow. That's when relative humidity really starts to drop. We'll see sunny skies widespread throughout those inland areas. Starts to cool down just a little bit more right ahead of Halloween. We're talking about 70s for those daytime highs, which means by the time the sun sets on Halloween on Friday, it's going to start getting cool and spooky, so make sure those kiddos have jackets and they're ready to go to stay warm into the evening hours that night. Luckily, we start to warm up once again Saturday and Sunday with sunnier skies right around the corner. So a very mild forecast for us this week. We're here to keep you updated on that.
Well, a new spooky attraction is just opened just in time for Halloween. The Vampire Tour of San Francisco offers mortals a peek into the city's dark history with the undead. And while most of us think of Transylvania or New Orleans when it comes to vampires, our Itai Hodge shows us why San Francisco might have a little more bite than you think.
To mere mortals, her name is Kitty Nazaro. But around here, she's simply known as the Vampiress of San Francisco. When were you bitten?
1897.
She claims it was none other than Count Dracula himself who did it.
That was the night that my life came to an end, but not my existence.
Ever since, she's been on a mission to feed our curiosity.
This is the site of the most brutal battle between mortals and vampires.
For 20 years now, she's led her vampire tours, where history has a habit of coming back from the dead.
Alcatraz is by far the most haunted spot in the entire city.
She doesn't drink blood, she spills the tea.
They think if they wear garlic around a vampire, they're going to be protected. It's a spice.
Mark Kaufman, noted celebrity sommelier, said her tours were the perfect pairing for his label, Vampire Wines.
We're on her website, she's on our website.
So, how long have you been dead?
From AMC's Interview with a Vampire series, based on Anne Rice's classic, to FX's What We Do in the Shadows, to this year's blockbuster Sinners, our obsession with the undead has never been more alive.
So San Francisco really is a vampire city?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Dr. Robin Werner, who teaches vampire literature at the University of New Orleans, says that while the Big Easy remains the vampire capital of the U.S., San Francisco might just be their summer getaway.
You've got the fog, you've got the ambiance.
For the Vampiress of San Francisco, it's been the perfect way to make a living.
Everybody loves to get scared.
A grave reminder that while we humans may never achieve immortality,
we don't exactly make a quiet entrance.
Time spent hanging out with vampires is never in vain.
Well, if you're wondering how she manages to stroll in broad daylight, she tells us, or she tells Itai, she uses a special Max Factor makeup made just for vampires, SPF 500, good for about 2 hours in the sun. Well, thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. We'll be right back with your first alert forecast and a look at your top stories.